below 500. They eliminated themselves from winning the AFC West for a 10th straight year. C.J. Stroud threw for over 200 yards and a touchdown, and Houston's defense did their job. Forced Mahomes to throw 3 interceptions. So the Chiefs, continuing their playoff streak, is looking grim with only a 14% chance to make the postseason. The Chiefs' 10 straight seasons of reaching the playoffs is the longest active streak and the longest in NFL history, behind the Patriots' 11-season streak. Is this Chiefs dynasty over? They did not look like themselves yesterday, Cam. What did you make of what you saw the Chiefs? Do you think the dynasty is coming to an end?
If it's not, it's surely in question. And as I was watching the game yesterday, there was a intensity that I really haven't seen in a lot of NFL games. That probably was the most physical game that I've probably seen all year. And that's what the Texans wanted it to be. The only reason why I question is the Chiefs dynasty over is because quarterbacks in the AFC are getting damn better. When you look around and you say the Patriots, Drake May. When you look at the Broncos with Bo Nix, when you look at the Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence, the Bills, obviously, the Chargers and the Texans with C.J. Stroud, quarterbacks around this division are going to make it extremely hard for the Chiefs, where Patrick Mahomes have been playing elite ever since he got the starting nod, for Kansas City. Guys around those teams are picking up their level of play, which in essence will now point the finger back at the Kansas City Chiefs to say, hey, are you guys going to keep staying ahead of the game? And that's going to be the biggest question to see if they're able to do that, inevitably bringing an end to that dynasty.
Yeah, of course the dynasty's over. We've watched this dynasty slowly start to become over for the last 2 years. And I say that not to, jump on the I was first train. It sucks saying that. We've grown up over the last 8 years in this football world, and certainly in this industry with me, having Patrick at the forefront. To know that Patrick's probably not going to be in the playoffs. Also, the fact that Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson feel like they're not going to get in the playoffs, that stinks. And so this was a team that has gone to the playoffs 10 straight years. 10 straight years. That's the second longest streak in the history of the NFL, only behind New England, 2009 to 2019. It's certainly closer to that being over than not. And when I watch this team, Cam, Stephen A. Shea, feels like for 2 years, this team has lost a game or won a close game. They come on, post-game press conference, they go self-inflicted wounds. We got to clean up the penalties. We got to make catches and stop dropping the football. That's been 2 years now. This team's got 21 drops. That's the third most in the NFL. They got 4 more drops last night. 3rd down drop, 4th down drop. And I'd also say this, 76% of their offense, 76% of their offense is accounted for by Patrick Mahomes. Wide margin, most in the NFL. Wide margin. Can't do more. And it feels like we're in this world now with Kansas City the same way we've been with Buffalo and Cincinnati and Baltimore. Are we asking the quarterback too much? We've asked that question about those teams. And this team right now going into next year is $31 million over the cap. Can they figure that out? Yes. Can they redo it? Yes. But this version of this unbelievable dynasty, yeah, that's over. Can they have another one? For sure. It's just going to look very different.
Well, I wouldn't say very different. I mean, the fact is you're going to get a new tight end because I think Travis Kelce is going to retire. And you got to shore up that offensive line. Outside of that, I mean, if it wasn't for those couple of things, where would we be? How would we be talking about the Chiefs? Let's take last night's game into consideration. He finished with a 19.8 passer rating, which was the worst of Patrick Mahomes' career, okay? Three interceptions, sacked twice. A couple of those interceptions weren't his fault. When you look at the offensive line right now, the lack of protection, I mean, not only did you have 3 guys down, okay, and Josh Simmons, Trey Smith, and Jawan Taylor, but this kid Morris goes down and has to get carted off the field, and then you end up with a 5th-string tackle. So look at what they're dealing with right now. They're decimated with the offensive line, and that's a big-time problem. You fix that, okay? You don't have these problems. You don't have most of these problems. And so I'm just looking at it from the standpoint, I'm going to sit up there and say, if you're talking about this specific version, sure, that needs to end. But Patrick Mahomes there with Rashee Rice, with Xavier Worthy, with Thornton there, I don't think you look at the Kansas City Chiefs and say, oh, my God, I mean, they got to totally retool. They just got to buffer up their offensive line, get guys healthy, and obviously their Hall of Fame, first ballot, future surefire Hall of Fame tight end, and Travis Kelce, I mean, this is probably the end for him. I think we all knew that. I think we all knew he just came back because of the way they went out in the Super Bowl against the Eagles. That's the only reason I think he came back this year. I think this is it for him. And so you got to replace him. That's about it.
Look, the offensive line, an issue, of course. But, like, the drops were a problem. The 3 turnovers by Mahomes was a problem. Third down is an issue, especially defensively. Like, I feel like I was expecting the offensive line to be the biggest of problems, and it felt to me like that actually was lower on the totem pole than everything else that happened yesterday.
You're 100% correct. This is a football team that has been bad on defense in the second half, bad on defense in third down. Offense is an issue. They're a lot over the cap. Like, this is not going to be just a fix.
Yeah, it's an issue, and it's something we're not accustomed to seeing. We always think they're going to have this fourth quarter magic, and they don't seem to have it. You know who did have a little bit of magic yesterday? That would be Josh Allen. He led the Bills to a huge win over the Bengals, but is he truly enough to overcome their bad defense? Let's call it what it is.
Teams that make you pay for putting the ball in jeopardy, those are the teams that really Jordan Love struggles with, and that's all I'm saying.
Orlovsky, Dio. And Dio is a lot. He's got a lot more flavor than Orlovsky. So, you flow with that. Okay. Here's the deal, man. Jordan Love has been in the NFL for 5 years. He's been a starting quarterback for the last 3. He's thrown 11 interceptions his first year, 11 interceptions his second year, just 4 interceptions his third year. And 11 interceptions is not awful. So he's thrown a grand total of 26 interceptions in 3 years in his career. That's not bad at all. So what the hell are you talking about when you say everybody treats him like he's an interception waiting to happen? See, you're trying to change the narrative to come to his defense. We're not saying that about him. What we're saying is this brother is ultra talented. We know he's not a scrub. We know he's a big-time player. But in order for the Green Bay Packers to get to the next level, he has to elevate his level of play come January. That's the narrative. That's what we're saying. And that is what you're trying to wiggle around. Don't try to create this narrative. Everybody's throwing out Jordan Love out there. He's an interception waiting to happen. He's a mistake waiting to happen. No, but you do have 5 interceptions in your last 2 playoff games, and both of them were losses. Okay? You've lost your last 2 playoff games. All right? The divisional playoff game against San Francisco, lost to Philly last year, and in those games, 5 interceptions were thrown by the man. That is a fact. So you can sit up there and say it any way you want to. In the end, all anybody is saying is Jordan Love is a big-time baller. My brother, are you going to show up like that come January? That's our question mark, which is why their win yesterday was so big, because you certainly don't want to be looking up and having to go to Chicago or someplace else for a playoff game when you can have them at Lambeau Field. That's what we're saying.
It's going to feel like a playoff game in Chicago in 2 weeks. You can sit there and sulk for a little bit because the Bears and the Packers are going to have a rematch. But this time it'll be at Soldier Field.
Sulk and be frustrated. That's what happens when he's wrong.
He's
Dude, you just, oh my gosh,
Jordan Love is 1-2 in the postseason. There's not a huge sample size, but obviously he can't turn the ball over and lose again this year. Or the narrative will probably change.
So Shay, 5 interceptions in your last 2 playoff games with gross end up losses is not a large enough sample size. Is that what we're saying? I just want to know. I just want to make sure so we can judge accordingly.
The Eagles went on to win the Super Bowl. Everyone lost.
You ready? This is how I could dunk on Stephen A. Let's have a conversation about the quarterbacks that no one hesitates about their play in the playoffs. How many of them are in the NFL? Probably Stafford,
Patrick Mahomes,
Jalen Hurts, Mahomes,
which we're about to have a conversation about right now.
So there's 4 of them.
Your argument is profound if we're saying that Jordan Love can't play. If we're acknowledging that the brother is a skilled baller, okay? We're just talking about how he has to show up and play on the same level. Listen, Cam knows this. It's 2 sayings that I got, right? First of all, don't let it be you. That's number 1. Don't let it be you. Don't let it be you, Dio. I always point to the screen and say, don't let it be you. Here's the other thing. If you a scrub, you a scrub. Don't let it be you. If you a scrub, you a scrub, all right? But if you're not a scrub and you are somebody that can ball, and then the moment arrives and all of a sudden you appear to be a bit jittery and you do things that you normally don't do on the negative side, what are we to make of you? That's the point. That's all we're talking about right now. Nobody's talking about Jordan Love and his skill set and what he brings to the table and what his capabilities are. We're saying, January is next month, bro. What I'm seeing now, that's really, really nice. What you gonna do when it count? And most people agree with me, not D.O.
Jordan Love in the second
totally
half
made
of
up.
the season. Wait, Jordan Love in the second half of the season has the highest QBR of any quarterback. Not in the postseason, in the second half of the regular season. All right, you said there